Welcome back. Joining us now is North Central Sports Information Director, Clark Teuscher. Clark, as always, thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
So the men weren't the only team that headed out to California, as the women brought a nice number of athletes, led by Bree Tolliver, the senior javelin thrower, who comes away with a 6th place finish.
Yeah, it's a nice way for Bree to end her career. Comes in and establishes a personal best in the first throw of the competition. Put herself in a good position for finals. Didn't have to worry about that for the next 2 throws. Really consistent series across the 6 rounds between the preliminaries and the finals, so certainly a strong performance there.
And another senior that made the trip, Chelsea Armstrong, who wasn't able to get points for the Cardinals, but it had to have been great for the team to be able to send one of their senior leaders to nationals.
Yeah, I think the whole team was really happy to see that happen. Chelsea is somebody who's really worked hard for the last 4 years to improve and excel at the college level, and she didn't think she was going to get in. There was an athlete ranked ahead of her in the discus throw who didn't declare, so she was able to get a spot and wound up finishing higher than she was seeded in the event. So a nice way for her to cap off her career as well.
And Chris Dakota, only a junior this year, may or may not be back next year. She ran the 1,500 meters, which is still relatively sort of a new event for her this year.
Yeah, and there's only 6 or 7 times that she's run it now, including the 2 rounds of the national championships. Got through, in a kind of a tactical preliminary heat to qualify for the final. Was in the mix with a couple of laps to go. Then when the move came, just really wasn't able to get her legs to respond and kick with the rest of the group there. She is graduating this year after only 3 years, which is certainly an accomplishment on an academic front there. I think she's leaning toward coming back as a graduate student and competing her last year, but we'll have to wait and see.
And the other Cardinals that made the trip, Elizabeth Composto and Mandy Coglianese. Elizabeth had competed in the indoor national championship, so do you think that helped her be a little bit more comfortable with her 12th place finish in the pole vault?
I think there were still some nerves there, early in the competition, but as you get in and you get into a rhythm and start clearing some heights, you kind of focus in on the competition. The pole vault is one of those events that rarely plays out according to seedings because there's just a lot of variables in terms of the wind. The weather certainly wasn't what we expected it to be in terms of temperature and wind and things like that. But certainly, she came close to what her personal best has been for the season. So that's not anything to be ashamed of. Certainly, Mandy, didn't have one of her better times of the spring in her preliminary heat in the 400 hurdles. Both of them are freshmen, and certainly an experience that they can use to improve upon next year.
Well, we look forward to watching them compete on the track next year. Clark, thanks so much for joining us this year.
Thank you.
It was truly another great year in North Central College athletics, and we wrap up this season with a look back at some of the highlights and accomplishments that made this year memorable. I'm Marc Dahlquist. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you back here next year.